Hello, hello, hello. Hello,
Hello,
Kate.
caffeinator. Yes, hello, caffeinators.
All right, you're coming in for another episode of KeKe in Conversation, where we recap love, marriage, in Huntsville and just hot topics. We're
Yes.
all about pop culture. So one of the things before we get into love, marriage, and Huntsville, we were discussing this thing with this football player and his
hmm
his wife, and her finding out that he's been transferring all of his money into his mom name. 85% of his wages have been going directly to his mom.
hmm
There was such a big discussion about it this weekend on social media. I'm like, we've definitely got to take this to the podcast and see what everybody else is saying. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm always gonna ride for a woman. And I mean the men have just been coming so hard. And I think something like this
Well,
definitely
back
affects.
up for a second because they may not know what you're talking about. Who's the football player and what was the
It,
situation?
it's a it's a
Because everybody didn't hear it. I know when you was telling me about it, I hadn't heard about it.
Um, I'm not a sports person by any means, but definitely the topic of women and relationship piqued my interest. So he's some Moroccan football player that resides in France.
Okay.
His wife is several years older than he is, but they've been together since he was 19, she was 31. She is
hmm
now 36, 37, and he's 24.
hmm
And she hit him with a divorce.
So it's a
Um,
12-year age difference. Okay.
Right. Um, and they have two children, a 1 year old and a 3 year old. They've been together since 2018, got married in 2020 or 21.
hmm
They haven't been married very long. So she put in for a divorce and asking for 50% of his earnings. Now we know that she won't get 50%, but like they say, you always go high in a lawsuit and then you come to a medium that you're both happy with, right?
hmm
So a lot of the social media, men and women, but of course a majority of men saying, the team has won, it's about time, and all the rest of it. And I thought that was so damaging. But then again, a lot of my responses to a lot of these men were, trust me, you have nothing to worry about, no woman would want you anyway. But I just didn't understand the visceral outpouring of hatred to this woman that has two children for him. And the fact is, the reason why she's put in for this divorce is because he has a rape charge that's pending. The rape charge only happened in February. So they're
Of this
saying
year.
of this year, of
hmm
2023. And they're saying she should have just sit there and collect her checks. Now, any self-respecting woman is not going to do that, because that's not, I don't think that's why she married this person. But then
hmm
again, there is question of why you as a 31-year-old is with a 19-year-old,
Yeah, and
to
that would be my
the
question
divorce.
because I haven't read the story, but when you were telling me about it a little while ago, my first question is, what would a 31-year-old want with a 19-year-old? I mean, he's fresh out of high school and you began living
And
life.
no, I don't
What
think
could you possibly want? What do y'all even have in common other than his millions of
well,
dollars?
I don't think he had the traditional high school experience, for one, because he's been playing professional football for so many years. In fact, I believe he's one of them prodigy. He's actually been playing football since he was 16, which
It
makes
don't
sense
matter.
why.
He's 19.
Yeah, but then you're also with other older people around. So I get it. His experience is not going to be that typical 19-year-old experience. He's worldly, he's traveling, he's meeting different people, he's in rooms and talking about contract and money, understandably. But my point of being is, first, what was she talking to him about? Why you didn't know that all of his money went to his mom? This man makes over €1 million per month, and you did not know that 85% of his earnings goes to his mom every month. So really, what were you talking about? And what was he looking for in a relationship, and what was she looking for, that you didn't understand the financial of this person that you're marrying? Or were you also blinded by the purses and the cars and the homes and the trip? Because apparently she lived in the stores and she lived on a plane. you know,
Mhm.
always shopping and buying. And I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me, especially being a woman myself. First of all, let me put this out there. I have never had a man that want to do nothing for me. They're always looking for me to do. Or, you know, and make you feel bad for even asking. That's for one. And then, as you know, I have a hard time accepting things from men because I don't want to be obligated. When I am ready to cut, I don't want it be because you're giving me your things. Why I feel like, no, I'm not gonna do that, which is why I'm proverbially always in school to improve and do other things so I can always have my own money. But I hope, and this is for our young girls and our young and boys and young women, and I can only speak from my perspective as a woman. We're not sitting at home cooking 3, 4, 5 meals a day and at any man's beck and call. Get out there, get your own bag. Nobody is sitting at home and thinking about having babies anymore, and that for that to be your whole life. That was another thing that I saw over the weekend on social media. All these men saying how women don't want to have children. What are you talking about? How does a woman feel secure to even want to have your children? You know, someone pointed out a really good point of, you tell us that we have the kids, and then you say that we're fat, we're not losing the weight fast enough. There is no care. So why would anyone want to have your big head kids? I'm let me take a breath. I know I can get really excited when it comes to this because I just feel like whether you're a black woman, a white woman, a brown woman, a Indian woman, whatever, we just always seem to have such a hard time. You know, every time we think we've reached that level of acceptance and understanding, here comes something else that we have to live up to and to be measured by. And it's so unfair. It's unfair. It's just so unfair. It just really grinds my gears. It really do. Just how the playing field is never even for us. And it's the language and the narrative that's put out there that women can't support women. You know, we always have to compete, and we don't. We shouldn't have to. Look, all I can say is get your education, get out there and get your own bag. Don't depend on any man to take care of you. Take care of yourself. And we are no longer having babies at no early age and being locked in a house and being unhappy. Go find your happiness outside of being in a relationship and outside of having a man, because that is not it. That is no longer it. That's my perspective. I know I went on for a bit, but this weekend has
And you
been a
did.
lot.
So,
It's been
Captain
a
Ladies, y'all
lot.
leave your point of view on that. I haven't read the
Please.
story, so I'm trying not to comment too much on it because I really haven't read it. But when you told me about the story, my first issue is somebody that's 31 messing with the 19-year-old. Uh,
And again, I
I
took
need
it
to read the
in
story before I really
totality.
comment.
Yeah,
I
and
have to
maybe
really
we'll
read the
talk about
story.
it some more next weekend, because I do know um people have been going back and forth, and a lot of women have actually come out to like shut that down. One, about women not wanting to have kids. We would have children if we weren't just going to be somebody's baby mama. You know,
Well,
they don't want to get married. They don't want to be in a relationship with just one person. They want to be community dick for everybody else. And then you should just be accepting of that. That really bothers me. Why not find someone that you can build a life with? That's the beauty of being in this world, is that you have someone that you could say is mine, it's us, and we can build a life that we both want and want to share with each other. But it's
well, let me just say this because I know we need to go into love, marriage, and Huntsville, and I know that you can go on and on and on about this
I
for
sure
days
can when it
because you've
comes
been
to
going on for
women's
about 10
issue.
minutes at this point. But I do want to say, first of all, I don't know why a 31-year-old is with the 19-year-old. If it wasn't for the money, like you said, he make $1 million a month. Because what else
But
do a
she's
31-year-old have in common? When you talk for 10 minutes, I'm gonna just say this point, then you can finish.
it ain't been no
31-year-old messing with the 19-year-old, number one, that's a red flag to me because a 31-year-old don't have nothing in common with the 19-year-old unless she was thinking about the money. Number two, you said that she had 2 kids with him. That's what they call securing the bag, you know. And so with um most people with money like that, that's what they're going to do. Somebody's calling my name in the background, y'all. We record live from home And so, this is real life. So if y'all hear somebody calling me in the background, that's my neighbor calling me. But anyway, that's what you call security back, what you have kids. And then with, you said his 85% of his income goes to his mom, then, oh, wait, baby, I'm here in the middle of a live podcast. They're gonna hold a full conversation. I apologize, caffeinators, but 19 years old with that much money, if I was a mother of a 19-year-old making that much money, I would tell him too, hey, put that in my name, because you got these gold diggers out here that's going to try to take your money. And so I would have my son to put 85, if not 90% in my name. And then if you still choose to build a life, and I'm pretty sure she knew it going in, but she also understood that even though his mom may be getting 85%, you talking about $1 million a month. So he still have 15% of that coming. And me and my two babies, we got to get a piece of the pie. So that's my piece on that.
Okay. Again, even coming from a woman's perspective, I hope you realize the negative words that you've painted this person. That's called having 2 kids with this man. It can't be just a true relationship. It's her securing the bag. I think that's an unfair assessment.
I never read the story. That's just my assessment from what you told me. Yeah.
And he's not currently 19, but when they got together, he was 19.
It's an unfair assessment, but why would a 31-year-old want a 19-year-old? 19-year-old.
Yes, but they're now 36 and 24. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and this is what people miss all the time. Here's the thing. But if a 30-something-year-old man is with a 19-year-old, oh yeah, he's gonna take care of her. That is so unfair. And that's not
my perspective. I'm like, he's taking advantage of her too.
I don't think so. But then again, I don't know. And here's another part.
I start wondering what do they have in common?
And they may do, because she has her own money. And that's another part of the story, is that she may end up having to pay him money and pay his lawyer fees. This is just so wrong, but I'm sure they're going to fight it out in court. And at the end of it, this is people with money. I ain't got none. I wish I had some. Hey, adopt me. But we can move on to love, marriage, and Huntsville, because I don't think my perspective is just different. I don't even understand why they would want to embarrass her this
of
way.
The story from you, yeah. If you would have told me about it, I would have actually went on and read the story before we got on, so I can provide better input. But from what just the bits and pieces you told me, just starting off with somebody that young, I don't know how high your expectations can be of a 19-year-old. I don't know how high your expectations can be of a 24-year-old. Because at 24, you're so immature. And if you're 36, almost 40, girl, come on, what are you?
Oh, she wasn't in this relationship by herself.
Other than the money, what do you want with a 24-year-old? I mean,
we've all been there, where a man comes and whoop the woo and woo woo and all the rest of it. And then, no, they sold you a bill of goods that they had no intention of living up to.
Yeah, but you can only take blame for that, because what are you doing messing with a 19-year-old at almost 40? What are you doing dealing with a 24-year-old?
No, not almost.
It makes
40.
No sense. And so when you see
31 and 20 and 19,
but now you said she's 30. But now you said she's 36
and he's 24.
Yeah.
So at what point
so
did
at 36
you say,
you're almost 40?
So why not say, this is not what I want? And this ain't gonna work for me.
Asking for, again, a 24-year-old. These people they are not
you can't say that, because we got 50-year-olds out here cutting up and still not being honest.
I have a son that's 28 and one's 33, and when I tell you they are so immature, and women mature even faster than men. So then that's another woman, because even though she's 36, she's really
too. You see, that's the double standard that I'm talking about. It's all this pressure and expectation placed on women that is so unfair. And I'm always going to ride for women. It's no expectation. We mature faster, but when you act like a straight clown in the street, they're like, why are you behaving like that? But men can have poor behavior all the time.
I don't have a double standard. If it was a man, for me, I don't have a double standard. If it was a 30-something-year-old messing with a 19-year-old, I would be like, what do he want from her other than sex? When it's a woman messing with somebody with them, what is it other than money? Because you have absolutely nothing in common. I don't have,
you can't say that, because you don't know.
At
That's
36, I
unfair
had nothing in common with the 24-year-old. At 31, I had nothing in common with a 19-year-old. I
because
wouldn't
your
even
life
want a 19-year-old.
experiences, because your life experiences probably shaped you differently. And as
When
I'm
you
saying,
get
this
through, the
guy,
reason they're
this
dragging her through the mud is because of what are you doing, girl? You need to blame yourself
No, because we're
that you're in this
talking about
predicament.
someone who his life experiences are different because he's been playing professional football since he was 16. So it's not like he's
So
hanging
all you
out with
know
the
is sports. They
typical
don't make you an adult because you've
16-year
been
old
playing football since 16. My boys play,
professional. I'm not talking he's playing at the local YMCA. He's been
and all
playing
of your conversations
professional.
and all of your conversations revolved around sports. Just because you done been in rooms with certain people, it was still about sports. You still haven't learned life outside of sports. Now it may make you more hip to the game because you've been in these different rooms. Because if you that age and you in a room with the big dogs, all they talking about is coins and how much you gonna make to throw this ball and make us some money. But that don't mean that you have matured when they talk about relationship and kids at 19,
That's
at
probably why
24.
she thought she could have got him
Come on.
early and shaped him in the
Mm-mm,
way she wanted. But
mm-mm. And that's why
in
she in the
any case,
predicament that she's in.
K-Finators, leave us your thoughts
Yes,
and
please.
let us know. We want to hear everybody
Yeah,
else's
because she can't
perspective
blame
on this.
nobody but herself. Girl, you too old for that. Yeah. Blame
Girl,
yourself.
stop it.
I'm serious. That's
Because
just
if
my
the
point of
roles
view.
were reversed, we would say that old man took advantage of the young girl.
No.
No, no, he probably took advantage of her because she has
Mm-mm.
money. She's not lacking in that. Like I said, she's probably gonna end up having to pay him money. It's a mess. I just thought it was just interesting for these like wide perspective, and especially a lot of the men. Of course, they're all broke men on social media saying because a man with money, when he gets with a young girl, he already know what the deal is. He knows why she's with
So
him.
why are you saying this? Well, I think it depends on it. It's not double standards to me, and I would feel the same way if it was a man and a woman. I would be like, "What are you doing with this 19-year-old
No,
girl?"
because
Because at
really,
19, they just still wet behind the ears. But anyway,
you
love,
think
marriage, and Huntsville.
you think these old men don't know the reason why a 19-year-old girl would be attracted to him? Because what would an old shrivel up dick and balls have to do with a 19-year-old? That's not what she wants. She wants young, thick, and a nice tenderoni. But she's willing because of her life experience and probably coming from a family that didn't have a whole lot. So she's looking for this opportunity. He knows he's not with her because he's just so handsome.
But hey, I would say the same thing to him. You can't blame anybody but yourself because you already knew going in at
So
that
there was
age.
some
You already
deception from
know.
the beginning, is
You
what you're
already
saying.
know. No, I'm saying you already have a knowledge going in of what that person wants from you. That's all I'm saying. And then if you still choose to move that way, then that's a choice you make, and then you just deal with the consequences of it. And you just
You
said
know
that. You
what?
just said
I
yourself
I
that
I
these older men know that these young women don't want nothing for money from them. So if you go in with that and you messing with a little
it,
19 or
I
high
tell
school
you
year old
what
girl,
just
then that's
dawned on
you.
me. I'm probably so. And probably so. Maybe that's so. Is that why she was with him because of his money?
Absolutely. That's what you women coming with a 19-year-old. And regardless of whether you say that she had money already, trust me, she wasn't making no $1 million a month. That's
No,
what you
she
said he made a month. Again,
sure.
I haven't read the
Yeah.
story. So of course, people with money, their goal is always to make more money. And what better way to do that than have two kids? Because then that's 18 years guaranteed time
And
too.
I think this go in line with the journey that we've both been on in trying to understand relationships, which this is one part that I thought about
Mhm.
is clearly neither one of them understood their own values because clearly they weren't having meaningful conversation because she would have
19
known
year
from
olds
the
normally
beginning.
don't.
But then clearly she wasn't guiding it either. That you
What
didn't know that
meaningful
your man, all your
conversation you
man's
having with a
money.
19-year-old
Oh,
child? Come
I
on.
think we got a guest. Oh, a guest is joining in. So we have a guest joining us. So we on Wisdom. Come on in this room. Let's hear what they have to say. Hi, Sahara.
Hi, my
Hey,
name's Sahara.
Sahara.
I want to thank you both, beautiful ladies, for doing what you're doing. My sisters, And from one sister to another, I'm going to applaud you. Let me clap my hands.
Oh, thank you.
A round of applause, ladies. Keep doing what you're doing. I love you all. God bless you. I'm brief,
thank you.
On People Podcast. But I just want to let you know that God loves you and keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Thank you. You too. Is there anything you want to say to the KeFenators?
I want to tell you about me. I'm from Atlanta.
Okay, go ahead.
And I live in Miami. I'm 22 years old. My caregiver. And I'm an actress and comedian as well. Also, I live with my folks right now temporarily. I'm trying to save money.
Excellent.
I live in my own place.
Don't make that move too quick, okay? Because I'm a believer in that. Not because you're grown mean you need to go out there and pay all them bills by yourself. If your parents don't mind having you, stay as long as you can.
Yeah, I love my mommy. She's the world of my life. My sister the same way. She lives with us too. My mom and myself. I want to give Mommy Shelly May, aka Michelle Samuels, my mom Michelle, a round of applause. Mommy, I love you, Mommy.
We love you too, Mommy.
My mama gonna get on me. She gonna be like, my name is not Michelle. She's Mama. She don't play about me. She still treat me like I'm a little girl. So now I'm grown.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you, and you make sure you take care of yourself, okay?
You too, and be blessed. And I want to recommend a good restaurant for you guys to try. My town where I live at, my hometown is Atlanta. Mind you, I'm from Decatur.
Well, so, my co-host Fee, her and her husband, they're always all over this country. It's nothing for them to get in a car. So next time they're down in Atlanta, they'll come through.
What restaurant is she recommending?
So when you go to Miami, you should try this Jamaican restaurant. It's really good. I love Jamaican restaurant. I heart Jamaican food. I should wear it on my shirt.
Nice.
I love Jamaican food. I love curry chicken. Y'all should try what's that place name? Cliffs.
Okay.
Cliffs restaurant now.
We're gonna look that up, but we're gonna get back to the show, and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sahara. Right. We love our caffeinators.
We sure do.
Georgia in the house. So
make sure you go visit that restaurant when you go to Atlanta. And thank you, Sahara, for tuning in.
What was the name of it?
I believe she said
Cliffs.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Most definitely. I'll check it out.
We're gonna move on. And I know that was a heated debate for this issue with the football player. I even tried to have Kevin to have this conversation with me yesterday, and I guess he already saw where we were going with that, and he says, no, that's not my business. I'm like, it's pop culture. We should at least be able to talk about it. So we had to leave it alone because he was getting hot under the collar himself. But we're going to go on now to season 6, episode 2 of Love, Marriage, and Huntsville. And this episode was called You've Got to Chill.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So and so ahead. It started.
I feel like I've talked a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you got pretty heated when it got to that. I want to check the story out. And guys, me and Kay, we always have these heated fellowships that we have. And sometimes she gets real passionate about some of the topics, and it's okay. That's my girl. I understand her after 20-some years. But we go into Love, Marriage, and Huntsville, and it starts off, of course, with Mel having a conversation with Kimmy. And she decided to plan a party for Kimmy, and she went through her whole practicing of what she would do when she invite the people. And so I think it turned out well. Kimmy seemed to enjoy herself. I do, after watching this episode, I didn't really understand Maurice the last time when he was saying Kimmy needs to slow down. She's tired. And of course, with cancer patients, you can quickly tire with the chemo and all of that. And so I think I said this last time, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm really loving Maurice this season. He has really stepped up to the plate for our girl Kimmy. He really wanted her to slow down, and she was like, "I understand where you're coming from," but at the same time, I think she was trying to normalize her life, if you know what I mean. She didn't want it to be all about the medicine and the doctor visit. She just wanted some normalcy in her life. And I get it. And so he agreed to the party. And of course, she talked about the PET scan, and they announced that everything on the PET scan was clear. And so I'm excited about that. And so, of course, Mel planned a party for her. The party seemed to go well. But the point that I wanted to bring out about the party was Mel and Stormi have a conversation. And Mel says to Stormi, you could have DM'd me. I know you a Mel fan, and I know I used to be a Mel fan, but I see the messiness of it all, and I see why now they call her Messy Mel. And she said, you can DM me. And Stormi quickly told her, and I'm so glad, she said, I'm not DMing nobody. That's not what I do. And she's like, well, you DM me all the time. And so the problem that I have with that is, if you're my friend and you change your number, and if I'm important to you, then you would call me and say, hey girl, I changed my number. It's okay, because Mel, she's real big on, I need to save space, I need time alone, and all of that is fine and good. But if I'm your friend, hey girl, I'm taking some time, by myself, which is why I haven't been reaching out, but I want you to know that I changed my number. I mean, I would have a problem if you change your number and you didn't call me, and I'm texting you, ain't getting no response. I'm calling. And I rewatched the first part when I left the park today to see this. Stormi said I called, and she's like, yeah, I called. Number wasn't in service. So what we doing?
Well, if I may interject, like
you most
I
definitely
said to you, and I think we talked about this last week, that everyone knows there's levels to friendship. And maybe, and I believe that they're all wanting to have airtime with Mel. I just feel that way. Because like I made in my notes, Stormi was reaching. She's looking for a reason to be mad and jump on let's hate Mel bandwagon. So I'm not with it. And besides, we're all grown people. And like you said to me, Huntsville is this big. If you were that concerned, I believe that she could have jumped in her car and go to her office like, hey girl, what's going on? I haven't heard from you. I'm texting, I'm calling, nothing. If we're friends. And like Mel said, have we argued? Have we, has there been a disagreement? Why would you feel that way? I don't understand it. Again, I think they're just trying to find a reason to be upset.
I don't think she was looking. First of all, they don't come across like Stormi, number one. Number two, if you change your number and you don't feel like that I'm important enough for you to give me that number, I'm most definitely not gonna go drive around Huntsville trying to track you down.
But you're saying we're friends. You're saying we're friends.
If we're friends, and Stormi kept saying it, but if we're friends, you change your number. It's not that I changed my number, you change your number. So I'm sure that when she changed her number, I bet she called her mom and gave her number. I'm sure she called people.
You can't put yourself in the same category as important. My mother.
Yeah, but still, I'm sure that Mel called the people that was important to her. And I think the problem that everybody keeps having with Mel and her friendships is that she'll be calling them. Destiny said the same thing. Hey, we used to talk every day. Tisha said the same thing. We used to talk every day. Stormi said this time we was texting every day. And then if you just stop midstream, and of course I know you're busy, at least call and say, hey girl, well, here's my number. Hey, I'm, in hibernation for a minute, but I still wanted you to know that I changed my number. I'm not going to come looking for you if you didn't change your number. That's not, I shouldn't have to do that.
No, I think there's levels to friendship. Now, I can't get a hold of you. Your number isn't working. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to send you email. I'm going to do it. She says she's not finna do that. And okay, you ain't finna do it. You ain't finna do it. And that's fine. So that tells me I'm not that much of an importance to you either. What if my phone was stolen? What if I'd lost my phone? So now nobody remembers numbers like they used to back in the day. So that's the thing. It comes back for me like a woman thing. We are never given the benefit of the doubt. We're always held to these unmatched, unreasonable standards, which are so unfair. Outside of her running multiple businesses, she also has 4 young children at home. And here it is now. I didn't call you specifically in particular and tell you my new number. And you pulled me to the side at a party to let me know how disappointed you were.
Okay,
that's unfair to me. That's unfair.
Okay, that's a big deal because again, you can talk about the businesses and you can talk about the 4 children, but when you needed to know how to start this hair product business, you didn't have a problem reaching out to me every day. We've been talking for months with you running 4 businesses and 4 kids. And by the way, she don't have those 4 kids every week. She have them every other week. Okay. And so you can't, you don't think enough of me as a friend to just say you change your number. I'm not saying she has to call Stormi all the time. I don't even think Stormi is that needed. But if somebody changes their number, and even if somebody, you said, okay, what if her phone was stolen? Everybody can log into Facebook on their phone. And why did she DM Stormi and say, hey girl, my phone was stolen?
There you go. There you go. Why didn't Stormi then get on Facebook and say, hey girl, trying to reach you, your number? She said
because
she ain't
it
going
was
to do
Mel that changed her number. And I'm sure if Stormi had changed her number, she would have called Mel and said, hey girl, I changed my number. But I think we see a pattern. But for me,
these standards that people try to hold other women to is so unfair. It is so unfair. Do you know how many people are probably in her phone that she didn't call and probably don't even have that? I'm just going to put it down that they were trying to reach and come up with a scene. And so they said, well, let's do this.
You're not friends with everybody that's in your phone.
Do you think she called everybody else and she particularly isolated Stormi? I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair. And again, I think we as women being held to such standards, I got a problem with that. And if you're saying that you're my friend, if you're saying you're my friend,
I don't think that's a high. I don't think now I can see if the standards were too high, and I think you were saying that in the other story. You was trying to make it seem like people are holding women to certain standards. No, women should have certain standards of their own, just like with the football woman. You shouldn't be dating a 19-year-old. That's just almost like common sense. Same thing with the friendship. And he
shouldn't have been dating a 30-something-year-old.
That's people that's important to you. You just give them your number when you change your number.
That's the hard truth, though.
But maybe she's just
not that important. Maybe she's just not that important to her.
Exactly. And that's what Stormi said. Maybe, and that's what Stormi said. She's like, maybe, I'm thinking it's one thing and it's another thing. Now that's the truth right there. And since this show been airing, we've seen a pattern with Mel. She did it with Tisha, she did it with Destiny, now she did it with Stormi.
I just think Mel sees people for who they are and she treats them accordingly.
I think Stormi was really trying to be a good friend. I think Destiny was trying to be a good friend. And as well as Tisha. Tisha had
no, Destiny wasn't. She hasn't even been on this season, so we're going to leave her where she is in the past.
But she was being a good friend.
She was not, because
she was right about with Mel.
The kitchen got too hot. What did she do? But you my friend anyway. That's messy. That's messy. I knew you first. Whoop the whoop. Like, no.
No, she made that statement. She made that statement when Mel was telling her, because me and Martell are into it, and if we're friends, you shouldn't have conversations with him. And she thought that was unfair because she was like, I'm both of your friends, and I met him first. But at first, she wasn't like taking stuff to Martell, and she wasn't taking stuff from Martell to Melody. It wasn't until her and Melody friendship ended that she started, having conversations with Martell about Melody. But she was ride or die Melody. And that's why she was hurt so bad. That's why she was in tears, because these women be really thinking Mel is their friend. And Destiny thought that. Tisha thought that. And she's really not. She's just, I just see her for who
nobody was her friend with her petty Betty. So
yeah,
Tish don't even know how to be a friend. So nobody could ever think that.
I have been around people who, mean-spirited people. And I hate to say this about Mel, because I've always liked Mel. She's the reason that I actually started watching the show, other than the fact that my boys stay in Huntsville. And I was ride or die Mel in the beginning. But I've dealt with a lot of messy women in my lifetime, and mean-spirited women. And when I look at the episodes, and I know, we talk about we only see portions of their life, I can tell mean-spirited people. Melanie's been hurt. We empathize with her. But you can see the mean-spiritedness in her. Things that she do, you just don't do. And then after she does it, she tries to play victim. Even with Tisha, we all know Tisha. Nobody is a fan of Tisha. I don't think nobody watched Love and Marriage Huntsville likes Tisha. She's probably one of the most hated cast members, other than her mama, that's on the show. But with that being said,
I think that's an unfair assessment of Melody, though.
Yeah, no, but
I don't
if you
get that
start,
from her.
I think because you're such a fan of hers, you don't see the stuff she do, but I see through BS. You know, even when her and Tisha
No,
was
I can be
friends,
objective.
even when her and Tisha was friend and they're friends, she like, check your man, go down to the club. Why are you trying to tear up her home? You know, because your home got torn apart. Why are you trying, if this is really your friend with 3 small
Because
kids?
they were integral parts of that. That her and her husband were integral parts of that.
Okay, but my grandmother used to say, whatever don't come out in the wash, gonna come out in the rinse. So just like she found out Martell was cheating, if he really was cheating, here we are 6 episodes later, and nobody still had proof that Marcel cheated. So if you did not have the proof to give to her, why tear up her home? If that's your friend, if Destiny going through divorce, can't pay her bills and all that, why do Destiny like that? Because you thought she was talking to Martell on the phone and you don't feel like she should be talking to Martell. When y'all were friends, she was talking to Martell because, like she said, she knew both of y'all. That's just the truth of the matter. Same thing with Stormi. Stormi to help you start these hair products, and now all of a sudden, I mean, it's just not cool. Some of the things she do is just not cool. Anyway, moving on.
I guess we're always going to be on opposite sides of that. And
yeah.
Again, I just think that women as a whole, we're put to have these unreachable, unmatched expectations, and it's unfair, especially as Black women. You know,
okay, you keep using that word unreachable.
It is.
So want your friend to call you because she changed her number is not reasonable.
Here is the thing. Martell is the one that cheated and broke up their home. And
Absolutely.
yet still it's Melody that's she's not supposed to show that she's hurt, she's being unfair, she's not a nice person. How is that
true.
fair?
No, that's not true. That's not true. Unreachable standards.
And she is reacting to other people, the things that other people do to her. How many more licks is she supposed to get?
No, she's not reacting.
Realize that this is a woman that's hurting.
Again, she plays unvictim. Now, I understand what you're saying about sometimes women get the short end of the stick. But in the case of the football woman, in the case of Mel, they're not getting the short end of the stick. Actually, Mel is winning. With the football woman, that's not unreasonable or unreachable expectations to ask a 30-some-year-old not to mix with a 19-year-old. The thing with Mel, everybody sympathized with Mel. When you read the feeds and the blogs, when all of that first happened, everybody was Team Mel. I was #1 Team Mel. I wanted to go to Huntsville and fight Martell myself. But as this stuff played out, one thing about character is going to eventually come out. And it's not unreachable. It's just certain things, you know, you don't do just because somebody cheated on it. You don't go try to break up your friend's home and her marriage just because you're hurting your home. One thing about it, though, is hurt people. And then I think the reason people are seeing through it because her story changes from season to season. Even though Martell was the bad guy, even though he cheated, he's consistent with his story. He keeps saying, yeah, I cheated. I messed up. He's consistent. He keeps saying, hey, I'm not trying to get back with her. Even though I would like my wife to be back, I know that's not going to happen, but I would like for us to get along for the kids. He's consistent, but every time you see her, oh, he's trying to get back with me. Why do you have to keep broadcasting it? It's almost like she just got to let people know. What's the point of keep saying that?
Because he's a narcissist, and that's what narcissists do.
Yeah, and then she keeps saying
say these things in front of the camera. But I can just imagine, because that's what men do. They want to keep a woman just right there when you mean them no good, instead of just cutting the cord and leave it be. One thing I do agree with, though, that I made a note of, and it's hard to believe Martell, is that if she is going out of town and he is home, he should have first refusal if he can't watch his children. I thought that was unfair and unreasonable if that is the case. But I can understand that she don't want to deal with petty either. I need to go out of town. You want to take the kids, and then she got to go through all the things. Why? No, she might as well just get her own babysitter and go and come back, whatever it is that she needs to do. So I don't think it's all that he makes it out to be. One thing about him, though, he'll tell on himself because he's slow. He kind of slow. He can't express himself very well.
The thing for him to be so slow, as you said, I don't think he's slow, but for you to say that he's consistent in what he says,
Consistently slow.
you know, And even he'll get on there and say, I'm not trying to, because I already know she's not. I just want us to have a relationship. And I think they should have a relationship with 4 kids. Not, that kind of relationship, but they should be able to get along and have a conversation. And he even said on the last show, and she did not, wait a minute, she did not dispute it. He said, I haven't been calling you. I haven't been texting you. I've been, doing everything you asked me to do. Why can't we get along for the kids? And when he said that, she didn't say, well, oh, no, Martell, you have been bugging me about getting back to me. Oh, she never disputed that. And he's consistent with his story. If he was a liar, after 6 seasons, his story would have changed. It hasn't. The only person's story who keeps changing is hers. Because one minute he's, this wonderful dad, and then next minute he ain't. Then he's this. Oh, but no, he's this. And then he this. And then no, he's And it just it keeps changing. Because even when they took the trip on the boat, she said he's been respecting my boundaries.
Girl, you went out for about a minute or so. Oh, you're lucky I was about to cut up.
Even on the boat trip, she said he'd been respecting my boundaries. Then all of a sudden, he wasn't respecting the boundaries. So she just back and forth. It's just she does some media. She keeps trying to.
I think that's unfair.
She's not consistent.
We still don't even understand the time frame and how they edit this stuff. I don't think so. And I do think he when the cameras are gone, he is there begging like a 90s R&B song trying to get back in.
That can't be true because she got on the show this week and said, Martell haven't heard my voice. So he couldn't be begging. And he does not have my new number.
I heard
so
her
how
say
can he be begging? Yeah, so how can he be begging? That's what I'm saying. And all he keeps saying is, I just want to talk. I already know I want my wife and family back, but I already know that's not going to happen. But I do want us to be able to communicate for the kids' sake. I think it's only fair to the kids.
And there's something that she said before. It's not that she even mind when it's typical of most men, how dare you not want me? It's okay when I didn't want you, but now you don't want me. And I can just imagine, because you see this all the time in relationship as this, is that because she no longer wants to entertain him, and when she does, like, okay, we're getting along, we're co-parenting, and I guess things start to feel familiar for him, he'd probably then think, oh, let me hit her with the 1-2 and see if I can get back. And then she doesn't want it. She's having a hard time. She's having a hard time. Like she said this weekend, this is not how I envisioned my family, my life. See, I never thought there would be time where my kids wouldn't be with me, and 2 weeks out of the month they're not living with me. I mean, that I don't think you can ever get over that.
Yeah, and I empathize with it. And I don't think you can ever tell somebody how long to grieve, how long to hurt. Like, sometimes when people die, they be like one of my students, her boyfriend passed away, and it's been about 5 years. And people like, you still grieving? You can't tell somebody how long to grieve, and you can't tell how long somebody to hurt. The issue that I personally have with Mel is, we understand you hurting, sis, but don't go out and be mean spirited to other people. That's all I'm saying. Don't mistreat your friends. Don't be consistent. The things she have done to Tisha, Destiny, it just wasn't cool. And
you're gonna leave Tisha out of this.
And the thing about her, nobody can tell you how long it hurt. But again, a lot of people are seeing the inconsistencies in her stories. And then she turns around and she plays victim. Now, what would be so powerful to me if Mel was said, and because that's another thing, she was like, I'm healed, I'm whole, I've been to counseling, but you can clearly see she's still hurting. Exactly. So why not saying, hey guys, I know it's been 2 or 3 years, but I'm still hurting. I'm still trying to get over this. But for my babies, guess what I do? I wake up every day. I hit the grind, and I try to make it, at 85, 90% of the time, I hit the mark. But guys, it's those days, it still hurt me because I thought I was going to be with this man for the rest of my life. I still don't see my babies for 2 weeks after month. And guys, it hurts. Think about how powerful that would be to women who's going through the same thing, but to sit here and lie and act like you healed and you whole and you not bothered, that's a lie, and everybody can see
probably
it's a
what
lie.
You would do. And I can just imagine, because you could tell that Martell, he be saying stuff which drives her to behave that way when the cameras are gone. So anyway, we're not going to resolve that issue today.
She'll be on Instagram saying it. Trust me, she'll be on Instagram. She'll be posting the text messages and all, because she used to do it. When he would text message her, her and Ari both would do it. They'd be putting it all on social media. And so she would be saying it. And like I said,
But
if
she
that was
used to.
true,
Has she done that now lately? Because I don't follow
no,
any of
because
them. I'm
because he
booked and
haven't been
busy.
talking to her, so it ain't nothing to post.
Excellent. That's what you
Because
gotta. That's what you
I
gotta
think
do with
he
a
has
narcissist.
accepted. I think he has accepted it's no getting back, even though he know he messed up. I think he's at a point now where he can actually verbalize, because I think it was difficult for him to say that, hey, I messed up my family, I was a cheater, I was a liar, I was deceitful to my wife, we were going through a bad time. I thought, this was gonna be a hit it and quit it, and I messed up. And he even said that on one of the shows. He said, I thought this was gonna be like a short-term thing, like a hit it and quit it. He used the word hit it and quit it. But he was like, but I end up falling in love, and I didn't expect to. I think Martell is a human who made a mistake. I think he's reaping the consequences of his mistake. And I think some people, not all, are trying to keep him in that moment of his life. And he's saying, hey guys, I messed up. I'm growing. I'm in counseling. And I don't think it's fair. You keep saying it's not fair to women. I don't think it's fair to men or women when they make mistakes in their lives and they're held accountable for that all their life.
I agree with that statement, but I can only speak from a woman's perspective. It takes a man. I can also be fair when need to be. I can be objective. I just don't think I see enough change in Martell to give that opinion. And I think because it took me a few years to watch Love, Marriage in Huntsville. And when I did watch it last year from the beginning, from the moment Mel came on the screen, you could tell she was a star. And I've always said that. And I think that's the issue they all have with Mel, because every time you watch it and you listen, you could tell that there is some maybe jealousy from the other castmates when it comes to Mel. And they always want to be in a scene with her. Like this weekend, I'm thinking, Stormi, as a business person, why would you want to have that conversation with someone that you're saying is your friend? Why would you want to hear that on TV? To me, you, my friend, that should have been you roll around my house or you roll around to my business and you're like, hey girl, what's going on? I've been trying to reach you. You okay? How are the kids? Not you come on national TV and she clowned
Stormi
herself.
said she wasn't going to go in this little party, and the party
Well,
was
then,
being aired on
and
TV
if you weren't,
and be
and if
fake
you
and
didn't,
phony.
okay, and if you didn't want to do that, then when you see me in the street, it should have been, hey, how you doing? And keep it pushing. I don't think that was anything that needed to be aired like that. I felt that was
Yeah.
reaching.
I think I'm just seeing Mel for who she is. I think
I don't
Martell
know,
made a mistake.
Mel.
He
And they give
realized it.
us 60 minutes out of thousands of hours
Yeah.
every week to,
But we're doing our commentary on the show. So I'm talking about the show. I'm not talking about what's off
but
camera.
we're still putting together what we think may have happened, or I don't check for Mel, not Mel, that man she was married to. And even if he was cheating, it's like Wendy Williams. Wendy knew her husband was cheating all these years, but once the baby came, she couldn't deny it. And I think Mel probably still would have been with Martell. But the fact that you were so reckless, and now this other person is having your kid, you can't deny it up until then. Because Wendy always got on TV like, no, my man ain't, my man ain't.
She did.
Oh, Lord, child.
Yeah, she did. And well, Mel actually left before whatever coleslaw had the baby, but I think it was public opinion. And I think public opinion got the best of Mel. I think she would have stayed with Martell if they wasn't on TV.
That I agree with.
Yeah, I think they would have stayed because, like I said, she knew about it. She had even went to Ara's house, knocked on the door, had a conversation with this woman on several occasions about her husband.
Let me talk to my young girls and ladies out there.
When you start
our ladies in their 20s and our teenagers, don't do that. Yeah. When you start with a man, and in my 50 plus years now, and with some life behind me, if you're with someone that makes you have to second guess yourself, that's not where you need to be. Pack your bags and your feelings and push. If you're not secure in your relationship, that's not where you're supposed to be. If you're in a relationship and they're not pushing you to be a better you and want to go win in life together, move on. unless you just with the shits and giggles and want to be in the street with
Yeah,
them.
I
Then
agree. But I
okay, well
think they
that's
had,
fine
I
too.
think with 4 kids and they built so much, and like you said, they've been together since I think high school or college or something, you know.
College.
But I think once the show started, and then you watching social media, and both of them are big on social media. You know, when I say big on social media, I mean reading the comments and stuff. And I think people like, I will leave him,
They weren't gonna leave.
Yeah,
And that's another thing, ladies.
exactly.
Don't be
And
leaving
I
your
don't
man if
be
he
listening to
cheating
social
now.
media
And that's
because only you, like you said,
don't do
and you
that.
even said this, we're only watching 60 minutes of the show a week. That's not your life. You know what's going on, you know what's going on inside your home. You know what you've been. Don't let nobody talk you out of leaving your husband.
Now, if
Anyway.
I'm trying to tell y'all, now if you want to leave, go on and leave, but don't listen to these people who about
Exactly.
I will leave them. They want you to leave so they can scoop them up. That's what they want you to do. They
Well,
want your life.
what did you think about Tisha and her cousin? I see that she's on the show this season.
I don't care for either one of them. So
I
honestly,
already know.
I don't think she brings anything to the show.
I don't either.
I don't think I find her to be disingenuous. I don't think she's not a girl's girl. She's not a woman's woman. You know, again,
I can't even
holding
think
her
of the lady's
cousin.
name. What's her name? I can't even think of her name. I just know she's Tisha's cousin.
KeKe?
KeKe, that's her name. Okay.
Not
Yeah.
her. I'm talking about Tish. I don't think she's, and I believe her cousin. Is that because I don't care for Tish? I haven't seen anything over 6 seasons that make me feel like, oh, she's okay. Maybe it's just the way they portray her. She's petty. I don't like her.
Yeah, she's very petty. She's very petty. But I don't think I was talking about
is
KeKe.
that what we're doing?
I don't think KeKe brings nothing to the show. Yeah, I think Tisha
Neither
is
one
real
of them.
petty.
They both
And I
trying to
think
get a
she's
check.
when it comes to Marceau, I think she's very naive. Very naive.
I don't know if she's naive. I don't think it's naivete at all.
When it comes to Marceau, she's smart. She got books in. She can't take that away from her. She's very bright and intelligent. When it comes to Marceau, she's very naive. And she's one of those
I
women.
don't know anything about her intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about her intelligence.
I'm talking about with her degrees.
Or whatever else she got going on. But I do know she's not a girl's girl and she's mean. You talk about somebody who's mean, she's mean. I don't think Mel's mean. And
that's Miss Wanda's child. So
I think whoever child she be, I don't care. I'll get with Wanda too. That's why you think she has to come out and do her fighting. And she knows.
Do you like KeKe on the show?
I haven't seen enough of her to make an opinion.
Just the episode we saw this weekend.
Again, I would not sum somebody up just because of she was on last season at a party. She said something at a party and she felt like her loyalty wasn't there. Okay, let's talk about the loyalty thing. But you weren't loyal to your cousin because as soon as something happened, you went and hung out all her business in the street about her drug addiction and all. What kind of family is that? And that's something, you know, which is why I don't have a lot of friends, because I do understand that when people get upset with you, you forget and you get so caught up in your anger that all the intimate personal things that were shared, you broadcast them. You're not a good person when you do that. Yeah. And that's what she's done.
Yeah. But you're mad at KeKe for what she did. Yeah. Now that's something me and you can agree on. We can't agree on Mel. We can't agree on Martell, but we most definitely can agree on Tisha, child. But I do have to give Tisha her props because when she was Kayla had ran into her, my daughter-in-law Kayla, who stays in Huntsville, ran into her, and she was like, my mother-in-law loves the show. She got on the phone and, you know, talked to me and engaged me in conversation. And I thought that was very sweet. She didn't have to do that, stop, because she was out having family time. And so she talked to me and told me, thanks for watching the show. And I forgot what I asked her. And I thought that was sweet of her. And I already told you, you know, we went to Black, Marceau, and Maurice, and I forgot Cedric. I forgot the other guy's name. They were so down to earth, so cool. They put us in one of the little rooms, and they were just talking to us. I mean, they're very cool and very laid back. So that's a positive thing I have to say about Tish.
Well,
she
at
did
least
engage
Marceau probably
on
knew to tell his side piece, like, this is the end of it, and they took their money and went on. Unlike Martell, you know, you had a whole bunch to lose, and you couldn't keep your side piece in check. That's crazy. And I think
Yeah.
that's so disrespectful. If you're gonna cheat, at least understand the game and find out the kind of person that you're with. You
Yeah.
don't want someone to come blowing up your whole house. And that's also, you know why also Melody treats him the way she do? Because clearly he's missing that thing. Because there's some men out there that are like, listen, you just know your place and you don't overstep your mark. His side
Mhm.
piece don't know the place, and your wife talk to you like trash. Ugh. Anyway, K-Finators, this is where we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
And just want to shout out to Zahara again for chiming in and coming on our live.
Absolutely.
And she actually sent us a message saying the name of the restaurant is Cliffs in Miami.
Okay. Clips. Okay.
So,
Not Clifton, Clips. Okay. Most definitely we'll check it out. I will actually Jalen is supposed to be going to Miami in a few months. So I'm gonna tell her, no, she's going next month. Yeah, in a few weeks. Okay.
yeah.
So we check that out. And so again, caffeinators, thank you all.
Yes, and we really appreciate the feedback. We're gonna take some more questions and try and put them in our podcast for next week.
And
So
please
I'm
comment on
Kay.
this 31-year-old woman dating a 19-year-old. And I'm Fee.
That's when they started. They've been together 6 years. I'm gonna need you to get that together. They've had a life. They've created a life together now. So it's now 24 and 36, and he's
You're
up
not
on
making
rape
it no better.
charges. And he is up on rape charges. Okay. Now I want the ladies to tell us: would you stay and support your dude?
Okay, you're gonna have to post a link to the story under this post so we can read the story.
Okay.
All
You
right.
can do that, but
All right.
I'm sure you can. It is such a hot topic. You could just put footballer accused of rape, and his wife is leaving him, and it'll pop up.
Okay.
All right, K-Finators, I'm Kay.
I'm Fee. And
You've
thank
been
you for
listening to
tuning in to KeKe in Conversation.